Hey guys, Marvel Master here. Today, well, been a while since my last video, but I'm gonna be showing you quite a few endgame boss solos with my first rank 4 Hulkbuster, obviously. I'm gonna be talking about a couple of his abilities and basically the standard rotation I'm gonna be using. So, if you want to just see the fights, I'll probably put timestamp up on screen probably right about now, but if you want to just see the fights, skip there. But if you want to kind of listen to me talk on and on, well, here we are. So Hulkbuster, I took him to rank 4 rather than other my other two tech rank 3s, Nimrod and Ghost. Ghost, I feel like she does fine at rank 3 for as much as I use her for, which is basically hazard shift cheese or bishop bosses in Alliance War. That's kind of all I use her for at the moment. Nimrod, he could benefit from rank 4, but I wanted to take a champ to Sig 200 and then rank 4 them, and I did not want to invest all those Sig stones into Nimrod when, yeah, his Sig is really good, and he does benefit from high Sig, but I just don't feel like it's worth it to throw all those generic Sig stones into him. But Hulkbuster, well, kind of took him to Sig 200 just for the lulz. His signature ability is actually really good in my opinion. You basically heal for 50% of your health once you get to your last 15%, which has saved me because I'm hot garbage at this game, and you'll see that in a couple fights where the regen does trigger, and it does save me from having to go through the fights all over again, which would be annoying. Yeah, Hulkbuster, he's kind of known for his damage, just for his heavy spamming, but he's got quite a bit of utility packed into him as well. It's also kind of another reason I ranked him up, because it's not just damage he has, it's utility. Because every armor up reduces bleed and poison potency by 25%. So if you last long enough in the fight, so 10 seconds into the fight, you'll have 2 armor ups reducing bleed and poison potency by 50%, and then you can actually get that potency reduction to 100% if you trigger the Sig and have Sasquatch along, because Sasquatch gives Hulkbuster another armor up after 10 seconds, I think. So you can have, without triggering Sig, he can have 75% poison and bleed reduction, which is really good. Hulkbuster's also got the ability to make sure that the opponent never throws a special attack. That's really good just because of the special 2 if you throw it into the block, which is always how you want to play Hulkbuster. You want to use SV2 into the block and then just start having spamming, but it will drain all their power. Doesn't matter if they're 3 bars, it will 100% drain and power lock the opponent, which is really helpful, and like, he's got the utility and he's got the damage, as you'll see. I love using him on heavy assault nodes, because his heavy attack does so much damage, especially with the shocks ramped up. You got 4 or 5, maybe 6, 7 shocks on the opponent, you're hitting, like 40k heavy attacks with crits, and it's just insane. Yeah, there are other champs that could deal a lot more damage and have more utility than he does, but for the tech class, which is honestly kind of lacking in my opinion, I really feel like it's, Omega Sentinel, and Omega Sentinel really kind of saved the tech class. She's really good. I've seen all the gameplay. But, she's really good. She's brought something to the tech class. She's got the miss counter, but the tech class, I feel like, is a little lacking, damage wise, to be honest. You got your heavy hitters like Ghost, Nimrod, Omega Sentinel, Stark Spidey, Star-Lord, if you decide to ramp them up, and then you got like the utility aspect. But if you compare those to the other classes, it's just not as good as the other ones. But back to Hulkbuster. I'm ranting too much. His special attacks, special one can stun the opponent, and if you throw it through the block, you'll get your armor ups will convert into extra stun duration. I think it's 1.125 seconds or something like that. But just looking through abilities, it's not like there's all that much text. This is kind of like average text, but it's really simple and straightforward. As an attacker, he gets some extra damage based on how large the opponent is, and big thing, he gets 1,000 attack rating for each shock on the opponent, which is really good, because you can get, like I said, 5 or 6 shocks on the opponent per SP2 rotation, and so you're hitting pretty hard. In his armor ups, they give a decent amount of armor rating. It's not anything, it's not like War Machine level armor ups, but they are pretty potent if you get them all up. Yeah, I talked about that. Oh, I forgot about that. Per armor up, it decreases offensive ability accuracy on the opponent by 20%. So, if you have the Sasquatch synergy and you use the SIG, you'll have 80% of offensive ability accuracy reduction, which is really good. Critical hits, if he's hit with a critical, if he's hit by a critical hit, he gets a 60% chance to inflict a shock for an armor up. Armor break. Oh yeah, you get a blockable buff for 1 second. So basically, if you throw it into the block, it's guaranteed to hit. It is 1.25 seconds. So, the SP1 stuns for 1.5 seconds. But if you, convert your armor ups into stun duration, you can get extra couple seconds, which can be really helpful if you're in a pinch. And like they're at SP3, and there's no way you can get to SP2 safely without getting like super lucky. You throw that SP1, you got a good chance you can finish the fight. SP2, like I said, you get unblockable buff, so it's guaranteed to hit. And then each hit of the beam attack drains a full bar of power, and they deal some damage per amount of power drained. And then it'll power lock the opponent for 3 seconds. The SP3 power drain is alright. It drains 50% of the opponent's power. So, if they're at an SP3, they'll go to like 1 and basic. They'll have some power over an SP1. So you got an SP1 and then a couple hits, you'll have to bait another special. And then you will have a 5.5 second unblockable buff after the special attack ends. And alright. Synergies. He doesn't have like the most amazing synergies. One that I run a lot just because it's more damage is always more fun. Is this Yellow Jacket one. Converts an armor up into a fury buff for 30% attack, which it just finishes the fight faster. This one, kind of a sustainability one. You know, you get increased armor rating based on how low your health is. And this one also makes Hulk immune to nullify Fate Steel and Stagger, which that one, that's a good synergy for Hulk. If you plan to use him, I don't know, somewhere where you'd use champs like Spidey 99, Mr. Negative, Red Guardian, etc., etc. There's Mr. Fantastic one. It will reduce opponent's offensive ability accuracy by 15% during special attacks, which that'll come into play during my last fight of the clip. I believe is the only one where it comes into play. I won't spoil it, but you know, it's gotta be my worst Hulkbuster fight in the game, but yet I still somehow soloed it, which is amazing. I don't know how it works, but that one's definitely one to stay around for. All these other synergies, they don't really do much. But, you know, another couple. Okay, all right. War Machine, you know, his pre-fights help out Hulkbuster as well. You'll see me bring in War Machine a couple times. He does benefit from the Wags pre-fight because he's both metal and hero, so we'll get the what is it? 8% ability accuracy, no, 8% attack rating and 10% ability accuracy increase, as well as the passive stun, which is I use that a couple times in the video. I've been talking for 12 minutes. Alright, well, one last thing, you'll see me run this synergy as well. Sorcerer Supreme has a synergy with Hulkbuster, which increases armor break potency, I think it is. Yeah, armor break potency by 30%. It's just more damage, basically. Because, what's this, can't remember what the armor break reduces the armor rating by, but it's quite a bit. Yeah, it'll decrease the armor rating by 330%. 330%. I can't talk today. 3,300 for 20 seconds, so another 30% on that. It's really nice. But gameplay, you guys want to see that? I've been ranting on for 13 minutes now. Oh my god, I'm gonna have to include this in the video.